All right, so lesson 11 uh, deals with form validation. And so we are going to be looking at validating forms using JavaScript. And then we're also going to use a little validation plugin through jQuery. And the reading assignment goes through client-side form validation, which is what we're doing, using JavaScript and jQuery. And it also talks about the jQuery Validate plugin that we're going to be using. And then you get into our little lecture demo. And so I've actually split this into multiple parts. And there's some that are required, and then there is others that are optional. And I've included some in here for review, simply because your certification exam is going to have quite a bit on there about using JavaScript to process form elements. There are objectives that deal with that, and so it is a good idea to review all of that. So the first section, the data validation, this is fairly short, and it just describes how to do validation, custom validation in JavaScript. And basically, you end up removing all of your HTML attributes that validate and insert your own custom JavaScript code. And so there is a video that walks through all of this, but in a nutshell, you can see that you create little span tags with IDs, and that is where you end up putting the error message. Okay? And then to kind of negate all of that HTML validation, you have to include no validate in your form. Okay? So this basically goes through how to do all of that and how to set it up. And it is actually fairly short. Okay, so not a whole lot to look at there, but the information that's in here is kind of important. And then we get into using jQuery. And again, this is going to be rather short. We are using jQuery Validate. And I do have a live form of a couple of them for you guys to look at. And then we kind of go through that code and how that works. Okay, and again, this is going to be fairly short. And so the two required pieces for this week are not going to be that long, and that's what your assignment is based on. But it is super important that you guys review how you use JavaScript to process forms. And so what I've done in here is I've linked to the different sections in here. So let's say you can't remember how to use JavaScript for data list elements. So you can actually click on this and it'll take you to this section of the page. And so right above here is where it describes what a data list tag is. And then here it tells you how to process those tags in your JavaScript. So this is definitely something that you need to review, especially because we're dealing with form validation. So you need to know how to access all of that data that is in the form. And this document tells you how to do that. It's super important that you guys review that. And then if you are fuzzy on how events occur and how they are handled, I did include a link back to our lecture demo on the DOM events. This is something we covered earlier in the semester, but we do cover a lot in this course. So you may want to review that as well. Okay, so that is the lecture demo. And then as far as the assignments go, you need to create a Certiport account. And if you already have the account, log in and do a screenshot. and then you'll simply submit the screenshot to this Dropbox and get the points. Because it's important that you know your username and password when you go to the testing center. Okay, and so this is my way of verifying that you guys know what it is. Because if you don't know that information, they will turn you away. So that is super important for you to know. And then we get into our form validation assignment. And there's basically two exercises here. Um, so first thing that you're going to do is, create your folder structure and download all these files. Um, and what you're going to be focusing on is the validation portion. So I've given you basically the forms. And then exercise 2, you're going to open this file and then you'll go through and make the changes to it so that you can do custom JavaScript validation. Okay? And this kind of walks you through the instructions, and then you'll be opening the jQuery one, and you will be adding the custom validation for that as well. So that is the assignment. It is relatively short. And so when you're done, when you've got it all transferred, you'll put done in the Dropbox, and then we have a unit test this week. The unit test is set up. Well, let me see, I'll pop in here so I can show you. You will get multiple attempts, and each attempt will build on the previous one. So there's 28 questions. The questions are worth between 1 and 4 points. And the test is open book, open note, and you are able to take the test 3 times. Your highest score will be recorded. And for each attempt, you are only going to see the questions that you missed so that you can improve your score without having to retake the entire test. Okay, so that is the unit test worth a total of 50 points. And at this point, you should start working on milestone 3 for your project. That is the final milestone. So all 3 of your games have to be complete. They have to be working. And remember, you need 1 game that is HTML5 canvas. You need 1 game that you're using jQuery code in. And then the third one can be your choice. You can do straight JavaScript, you can do HTML5 canvas in JavaScript, or you can do jQuery, okay? Whatever you prefer for that third one. And then for the showcase, you are just simply going to build on the previous PowerPoints that you have worked on. So for this one, go into the instructions. Your last one, you had how to play the first game, and you were in the middle of working on your second game. So you would maybe have mentioned issues or things that you were working on. So now everything is done. So for your second game, you are going to describe how to play it, any issues you encountered, and how you resolved those issues, and any plans you have for future releases. And then you're also going to have a slide in there that indicates how to play your third game, issues you encountered, how you resolved them, and again, plans that you have for future releases. And then finally, at the very end, what you learned from this project. Okay, so that is your final showcase. And for this showcase, it does need to be videotaped. And make sure that you do the peer reviews because they are worth a lot of points. So don't forget to do those. So that is your final showcase. Not due quite yet. but you are going to want to work on it and try to get that done so you can focus on studying for your certification exam. Okay, so that is what we are working on this week. If you run into problems or have questions, please let me know. And I hope you guys all have a fantastic week.